Alright guys, check mic. Welcome to the Ivy League's live stream. Alright guys, check mic. Welcome to the Ivy League's live stream. Alright guys, check mic. Welcome. I did this really quickly, so forgive me. I was rushing to get the stream started up, so I do apologize for that. Anyway, hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We have a really important week coming up. It's really the market's gonna get some insight on what I think could be what we've already known, right? The markets and the data have been showing a bit of a contraction. And, you know, inflation, we've talked about for about a month now, how we've saw inflation rise just a little bit, you know, possibly putting in a lower high, you know, across the world. India, some places in Europe. So that data comes out this week. We actually have a lot of other data that's going to be pretty important here, which I'm going to cut right into the watch list. PPI and CPI, you guys know. You're also going to get import and exports, which is going to give us a look into, you know, whether we are, or the government, I should say, is running a deficit or not. So we can get onto that as it comes. We have some retail earnings coming up this week, so we have data, you know, PPI Tuesday, CPI Wednesday, so keep that in the back of your pocket when, you know, we open up tomorrow, and you can see we're probably, which you'll see here in just 1 second, that will probably go into a range, possibly, you know, I don't know, do they try to front run the move? We'll see what happens when we open, but I think you could get a bit of a consolidation, possibly get PPI, go into CPI, and then the labor data Thursday. But we have a good look, and we don't get Home Depot until Tuesday morning also, is why I wouldn't think that you would get volatility Monday morning, because Home Depot, there's not really anybody reporting to say, oh snap, you know, the consumer's really in trouble. So I'm going to keep this as short as I can. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. Hit that like button for me. Please subscribe. We get to 500 and 1,000 subscribers. Both of those I'm doing a giveaway, just to, you know, as a thank you. So again, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's go right into the watch list. Okay, so we'll take a little bit from what we had last week. We had a good week in chat. If you don't know it, Trade Live right here, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. I had a lot of trades all over the place. Shopify, we took the reversal on Shopify. We took Friday, I think it was. You know, you had Palantir, the Trade Desk, and Upstart. Upstart also I want to keep my eyes on. Those three really started to rally. But I traded the Trade Desk. I think it was Friday. Friday it was. You had Cisco. Now again, I'm keeping this, you know, towards the end of the week last week. Cisco reports Wednesday. Cisco, we can pull up the chart, but it's at an area. If you guys look here, I want you guys to pay attention to this, because I might try a trade here. I don't know though. I don't think it's worth even making an attempt. But you guys can see here, and it's not just this level, but if we focus on what's at hand, this thing has been reporting. Give me 1 second. Cisco has been reporting not so well, but they recently came out with Thursday or Friday that they were doing a mass layoff, right? And I'm like, if you guys have seen, or what's up, Tyreek? Good to see you. If you guys have noticed, if you guys keep your ears out, you'll start seeing the playbook, right? That's like a front run into earnings. You'll see 2-3 days before they report, oh, we're going to do a layoff, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, kind of like giving out insight. Now, I'm curious on both sides of this trade, because if for some reason we get a pump fake, now what I'm watching here is this volume. We still have some massive sellers, right? You still have a little bit of both, and I'm more so paying attention to the volume that's up there. All right, the volume that's really up there. You got, you have some buyers. You do have a few big sellers. So if we take a look here on Cisco, all right, this is why I think about it. It's a $40 stock. If I put a little money out both ways, and we get a big movement, we'll see what they're going for. Maybe we can get it early in the week, and maybe we take profits on it on whichever side, depending on what the market does and what Cisco does. Again, this is not something that I want you guys to do or think that this is going to be a trade. This is just something that I'm watching because of the levels. Because if we, which we already did, you guys, I'm going to give you guys these two levels here first. All right, you can see we're bumping into this level right here at $46. You can see, bang, right? Okay, well, the overall markets have been pulling back. Now, if I take you, now I'm going to give you both sides of this, because the upside also is at 50, right? Really, you could say 50 and 48. So if it's up to me, and I'm like, all right, they're saying that they're going to do a layoff. So what they're doing is they're getting ahead of this earnings report and saying we're doing what we can to save money. Does that mean that it's not going to be so bad? It all depends on how the market's going to take it. From what I remember, the past year to 2 years, this hasn't done so well. Okay, this hasn't done so well, but this company does do big business. Let's not forget that. All right, they do some big business. So what I'm looking at here, we'll see what they want to charge us. We can actually look right now if they're up. So let's just look at, we'll say like a 50, again, small amount of money, a 50 call. Here, I'll have to put in a little bit more here. Again, this necessarily wasn't on the watch list, but because I'm talking about last week, to take those ideas, to bring them forth to you guys to do it, you would like to do with it. 18 cents. I can buy 10 contracts. I could buy 5 contracts. Really, I could, let's just say 5 and 5, right? And still be green this month, last week. So they want 18 to 16 cents for a 50 call. And they want, let's say 44. We'll look at 44. So that's a little bit closer to the money. Oh, but the downside, right? So if you do reject here, you have some room back down to like 44. So it looks like the upside is the bigger leg to this. It's giving you more room. All the way down to 40. You have really down to $40. 42 to $40 on this, right? Just to take a look. That and it's about the same. So they are saying with this, they're saying there's going to be at about $1 to $2 move, roughly about $1.50 on this. So as of right, this was as of Friday's close. So Cisco, keep your eyes on it. Again, if you want, join us on the watch list. It was just something that I was thinking about, just because of the fact that if this thing does move to either side, it to me has room. If it's to the downside, you have 45 to 40. Maybe you get 38. To the upside, again, you still have room actually up to 52 and $50. 50, 52. All right. Again, it doesn't have to move, though. That's the third part of it. It doesn't have to go up, down. It could remain sideways. So let's go into futures real quick, and I'll go into my watch list. If you guys have any stocks you guys want to talk about or do, all that stuff, while I give you guys some of my trade ideas this week, I'm going to give you guys my entries and my exits and my thoughts. I'm still working on it. All right, I've looked at a few things this weekend. I'm still looking at it. It's why this watch list was a little bit late tonight. So ES is about flat, and again, we're at an area here where if we, kind of broaden it out a little bit, you'll see, we could be just stuck between 2 Fridays ago's range, right? You put in it, and we've been watching it. We've been watching this Friday's low, saying, okay, can we regain it? We recaptured it at the end of the day Friday. Last week, you made a little bit of progress. So the markets are back in that uptrend. Futures are, the thing is when you get this pop, you also have your moving averages, right? I'll just bring up the SPY and everything for ones that don't trade futures or look at them. If we go to the daily chart, futures have futures are telling a different story, obviously. Now, you know what? Let me make sure, because I may not have moved that. So if you see some of these boxes, depending on if they're bright or not, means it's a moving average. So I can, normally if you guys join us, you'll see me trade on this where you can see the moving averages and stuff. But anyway, so futures are going to be bumping right into that 100-day moving average. So we'll look for a slight pullback, right, in the overall markets. We'll look for a slight pullback. Look for a hold on futures. It looks like you want to look at 530. All right, 530 to hold. That could give you some nice upside. Or if you look for the bounce into the 100-day at like 540, then you look for that pullback down into 530. Now, you want to go into, you know, your 15, 30 hour and really see, has that already been support, this, that, and the third. And you kind of have, you made this area here at 532 support. I'm not going to go into that to depth, but I will go into like the SPY, not necessarily the futures, because I'm going to hurry up and get this over with for you guys, and then we can just go over some charts. All right, so the SPY tomorrow, and maybe even into Tuesday. So we have a lot going on. I think you could see us get stuck right in between this consolidation. At best, all right, what consolidation am I talking about? Really, we've had this box up here all for like 2 weeks now. 537 to 540, the high 530s. It wouldn't surprise me tomorrow from like 533 if we do get a pullback into the 100-day at like 530, and you kind of stay between that $30. It's like a $3 range. You're trying to break out of it now, so we'll see where we open up tomorrow. All right, the VIX has pulled back a lot, so the moves should start to not be as wide as they have been. All right, so this is the SPY. Ultimately, we got to look for that upper range up there at 540. All right, anything lower than that, you're looking for moves back down to 520. That's the weekly move, right? Any pullbacks as of now looks to be a buyable dip. You had some really nice volume come in here on Monday on that reversal. I think that was also a little bit mixed too, though, with that selling pressure. So a lot of that volume was, I want to say, a little bit more to the buying side, but there was still some selling pressure there. If you look here on, I would like 1 day here for like 530. Maybe you try to wick into that 100-day. Where on as the day, like I'm talking about, it's like a $3 move. Depending on where we open up, we could gap up, right? And you kind of just look for like a day where, you know, the candle just gives you that type of, maybe it's a red candle, right? And we look to just kind of just pull back into this area here. I know this is already drawn out too much, but just something like this, right? Just a small little consolidation, again, unless there's no news or something crazy happens over the nighttime. So we'll look for you know, prior resistance. We'll look to see if this trend is going to be intact. All right, it looks like if it is, right, so if the market is going to continue to hold the 100-day, this pullback actually was a little bit longer than what it seemed if you look back, because we have for 2 weeks, like 3-4 weeks ago, back here, you know, we have been like, okay, cool, we're getting ready to make some progress. We start making progress, bang, we get hit. Then we're like, okay, cool, Thursday, Friday, we try to make progress. And what do I mean by that? I mean divergence, right? The cues, like tech was really weak, and then it starts to rebound at the end of the week, and then it just couldn't do it. So, but it feels like now we are, you know, you have some buyers step in. It should happen, right? This is when you buy. You buy low, you sell high. All right. I'm not going to go over the overall indexes. I mean, I'm just going to focus on if we're you know, we're this week. I will plan on, if there's no news, depending on what happens again with CPI. I have stocks that are for the upside, you know, and stocks that are for the downside, right? We're going to stay with we're going to find relative strength and relative weakness, and we're going to look to ride it. I'm actually looking to be really just out for blood this week. I really am. I think if the market gives it to me, I'm honed in, and probably if the market allows me to, I'm probably going to size up this week. I'm going to size up this week. You know, I don't want to just say that because because I want to doesn't mean that the market sets me up for that. It's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. So if you guys do things and go into the day's trading, just always, I want you guys to remember and listen to my voice and play it in your head. If you're trading just to trade, you got to ask yourself, yo, is the market giving me what I'm looking for? If you're trying to get 100%, 80, 50%, is the market giving it to you? Anyway, let's go right into the watch list. Apple. Let's start with Apple. So Apple, we talked about last week, had some news kind of, pertaining to Google. All right, Google, this DOJ lawsuit stuff came out, and they're obviously Google's going to fight it. So we honed in on Apple was weaker than Microsoft. Microsoft was really weak, but on the day, you would see Microsoft coming in with a gap up, and Apple just was coming in with the gap down. It was just lower if you looked at it intraday from morning to morning. So Apple was a bit weaker. Now the daily chart would tell you otherwise. So my point is, right? Apple receives roughly 20 billion from Google for their ad placement or for their Google placement, right? If that gets taken away, that is revenue taken from Apple, and you've already seen them come out with news about charging for AI data. They're in case that does come to fruition and they lose that revenue, they have to replace it somehow, some way. So they're looking out into the future. You're already seeing them start to say that they're going to be charging $20 a month for this AI chat GPT or whatever the heck it is that they're doing. All right. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to that news and understand that Microsoft has to gain. Google doesn't really necessarily lose as much. That actually could save them money. People are going to use it anyway. But Apple is the non-beneficiary of that. I think Apple's the one that would get hit the most. Again, it's 20 billion off of their balance sheet. Just to let you guys know. All right. So just something to think about. All right. So Apple, I have here. I'm doing this in the dark. So I want to watch 25. Okay. I want to watch this 25 level. So we broke above this prior little support area. Now, again, listen, this is going to be an area. If we hold this 50-day tomorrow, remember how he said the SPY, we look for that little pullback, just a range type of day. If I see Apple pull back into this 50-day and it looks like we're going to hold and I can get something out of the markets, we got $5 to that 20-day moving average, which is right here. All right. That 20-day moving average is again, I'm just putting my expectations in line and saying, cool, if I can get $3 out of Apple buying the dip, I'll take it, give it to me. I'll put that money in my pocket. Whatever trade or news that, again, that we get this week, I'll have some risk, or I should say insurance, on the table, taking what I can get from Apple because of the setup that is here. I've had this red box here for a little bit because I was wanting to see if we would actually start to reject that level. But you see, we came in after the market sold off and we just gapped all the way down below it. But now we're bouncing back into it. So does this relative strength that it did have from its earnings continue? All right. We're going to find out, I'd say by Wednesday, Thursday, possibly. So here's what I'm looking for. If we can pull back into this area again, and or if we come in with a gap up. If we come in with a gap up, I'm looking for 216 to 215. Friday's high, Friday's close, and I'm going to look for a move on Apple back to 215 to fill this gap. So if you guys will see here, you guys will see. If you can't see it, let me know. Bottom left of your screen. All right. That gap fill. I'm looking for that gap fill. Now this range, which I could have just did right here. There's two ranges I want you guys to see here, right? Which is this prior consolidation up here, right here at 220. All right. If we can get above 220, then I want to see if we can take it to 225. That's where your real resistance level is. So this could be a trade that I'll go 2 weeks out, maybe even 3. I want to get at least the 50-day and or 214. I want to get that wick down into, it's, if it gives me 216 and it looks like it's, going to just, it pulls right off of 216, sure, I'll take it. Just notice if you do try to go after this long on Apple, that 20-day will be coming in on you. So it's like you could just bounce. We could see a scenario where we bounce or come in with a gap up and it's at the gap fill and then it just pulls right back into this area at 210. So I'm watching both sides of that, right? 215 to 216 longs, right? Targeting 220. If we can get there and it seems like the volume's there, the market's still on our side, We'll look to just take profits in front of this area here in front of 220, and we'll leave some on to see if we can get above it and attempt to get up to like 218, or I'm sorry, not 218, but we'll attempt to get up to like 224, 223.50, and look to get up into that 225 zone. All right, so that's Apple. 216 to 214. It's about a $2 range. It's about $1.50. All right, 216. Again, join us on the live stream. We'll cover it. So that's one idea that I'm looking for. If we get back down below, I got to be honest with you, at 214 itself, I have to look at this daily chart. We have to see that 50-day is going to be pretty flat because this range has been right where it's at. So, I would start to think anything lower than 214, like even 214.25, you crack in the 50-day and you're taking back the progress that was 215. Right, this area here, there's your resistance. You popped into it, you broke through it. This volume has been pulling back a bit, but it's solid, right? Candles closing at the highs, not necessarily there are wicks, but anyway, you get that one. All right, so that's Apple. We're watching 215 now. If something happens where it breaks 215 and we turn the 50-day into resistance, you have room to 210. You have room to 210, and maybe you can squeeze out a 205. So $5 to the upside and $5 to the downside, possibly 10. All right, that's Apple. Let me keep it moving. Upstart. I am going to watch this. So $36 on Upstart. Now, I like this. I might actually start to buy this just because of... There's two things that I'm a little worried of, right? Is this just another lower high being put in? I have to do my research on this. But I may take a stab at it just slightly. Like a small, like I'm just going to, maybe I buy a little position here. Not something that I want to build over the course of a year or 2 years and sink my teeth into it. But I may end up buying some of this on the pullbacks. But I'm also going to be trading it. So... I want to watch Upstart, though, here at $36. So if we hold 36, we have room, which we already got up to the 50-day, or not the, I'm sorry, the gap fill. The gap fill here at $39. It's been strong. I got to be honest with you, I'm going to be looking for pullbacks into 36, or I won't be able to trade it. And I'm not necessarily looking to short it. I'm not necessarily looking to short this thing. But I would like to see if we could start to just pull this thing back, start to get our 20-day 90 MA up, and let's look to see if we can be a buyer at like $32 and see if we can get another leg higher. I will say this. If we start closing above $38, then it looks like we're going to head right to 45, 46. All right, there's a lot of strength behind this. Now that the market's strong, I want to see where this is at, how it performs for the first couple days of the week. This thing's making really nice progress. It's just this thing could be getting ready to be on a run, especially with the volume that came in on this. All right, so I would like to get $32. I just don't know if I'm going to get it. If we sit here and consolidate from 36 to 38 over a week, then I will look for another breakout, because then we're going to have all our moving averages starting to get yanked up and be there as support on pullbacks. And we'll look to ride that thing back up to that $40 to $45 level. All right, that's Upstart. A lot of strength here. I think there's something going on with this after that earnings call. You can't deny the volume that this thing had. You do have some pretty serious sellers up here at like $90, but I'm wondering if this is the start of something that we could look at for the next 6 months. Keep an eye on consolidations and pullbacks on the consolidations. Just keep this on your watch list for the next year. This could be a Carvana, right? This could be a Carvana to take advantage of, excuse me, sorry. See how this thing was just like, hey, we're turning things around. Some people necessarily didn't believe it. It's supposed to have a recession, this, that, and the third. But guess what? When they tell you something, you got to listen. These CEOs know what the hell they're doing. Every time you rallied, consolidated, pulled back, bang. You just could have just gotten, even just buying it for a year or two holds. So I want to see what Upstart does. Again, we Upstart, Palantir, and even Shopify, which we'll get into. So my next trade. Now these two, I have these on here for a reason. I'm not gonna, you know, how do I say this? I'm not gonna put the hook on for you. But there's a reason why I'm really focused on these two next names that I'm going to give you. All right. Join me tomorrow on the live stream because it's important. There's, you know what? Fudge it. Volatility in the equity market has gotten crushed from where it was, right? I've said it before. If you're going to be a trader, whether it's swing trading, day trading, you want to be where the volatility is. The volatility could be in currencies. It could be in gold. It could be in lumber. It could be, obviously, you can play all that stuff through the equity markets, but it could be in the equity markets. It could be in futures. It could be, in a different country, right? Where is volatility? Volatility in 2022, you'll know that, the bond market was really volatile. I'm watching banks and TLT because I think there are going to be some trades to be had, and I am going to take advantage of that volatility. All right. So the first one on the list, which is the stronger one of the bunch, JP Morgan. I was watching this for an ascending wedge. All right. It did have an ascending wedge, and then it kind of just extended, recovered, and it did it to the upside. So I'm like, all right, that's not really doing me any good. But I've learned this thing. You can make some good money with it, all right, if you trade it correctly. So, especially with the volatility, because of the sentiment that we have with the Fed possibly cutting rates, and then the data that we get, how that affects them, or I should say Fed fund futures. All right, so this is why I'm going to be focused on banks and TLT this week, probably next week, probably for the next 3 to 6 months going into the end of the year. You're going to have volatility with the presidency. So I'm going to be where the volatility is because as a trader, that's where I need to be. I need to locate it. I need to know what's going on. And I need to be where it is. All right, so let's talk about JP Morgan, and then we'll get into the next one. So I'm looking for a 204 long. Now, let me make sure that I have it. So I have both written down on here. All right, I have both written down on here. 204 pullbacks to the 50-day. Any wicks back down into this area, all right back down into here, I would like to be a buyer. We have now broken back above this 204 level. You guys can see here we gapped down, we opened up at the gap, and then we pulled back. Now we're back up in there at 204, and guess what? We got through the 50-day. Not only did we get through the 50-day, we also got through that level, okay? We got through that level there at 204. So I'm looking for a gap fill on JP Morgan. Pullbacks in the 204, it back into that 50-day. Really, I don't want to break 204. That 50-day should pull up a little bit. It should meet us right there. Look for dips. And I need, I will say this, that I'm going to target 208. But if I get an entry here at the 50-day in 204, I'm going to take a piece off in front of like 206 because you can see here that this was prior support and resistance right here. All right, so you can see that little resistance zone right there. I know you probably can't see it as much, but you can see that little tail. You got up there, throw it that tail, and it took you right there. So you kind of closed at that. I'm just going to be taking a profit if I get it because that's going to be, it's going to be 2 points to the upside. I'll take a little bit off, put in some insurance because of news, right? We could have news happen at any time. You have wars going on. Anything could happen, okay? All right, so 204 longs into 208. I'll be taking profits in front of 208. You have that 20-day moving average right there as well. I would like to target 210. I'd like to get the gap fill. All right, the gap fill is at 208. But if we can get above 208 and if we can just get up through there with some strength, then I want to see, all right, are we just going to go back and test, 214? But again, I'm looking for 204. That's a 4-point move to 208. Maybe we get that wick into like 209 in front of 210. That 210 is your resistance and support zone. All right, so you guys will see here that you rallied, resistance, pulled back, 204 support, 210 resistance. So I'm playing the range. I'm going to play the range. We got up through there at 210 again. 210 was support. It broke down, quickly recovered, and then it broke down. We have not made 210 resistance, guys. I do want you to know that. Maybe you have on an intraday. You did not, and that's why I have that there. So look here. The day that we fell down, you pulled back to 211, and he just went right through 210. So I'm looking for 210. Take profits in front of Friday's high, in front of 208, and then in front of 210. All right. Worst case scenario, we can't climb higher. We look for that break of the 50-day. Then now we're looking for 204 shorts, 50-day short at the 50-day, moves back into the 100-day down at 200. But again, I'll be taking profits at like 202. All right, so that's JP Morgan. All right, looking, I would like to take this long. Friday, you did make 204 support. So if we come in with the gap up, again, this is kind of like Apple. If we come in with a gap up, I'm going to look for pullbacks into Friday's close. If I got to take this at 205.50, so be it, right? So be it. I would much rather 204. Let's talk about TLT. I like this one. All right. I don't know if it's going to give it to me. All right. I don't know if it's going to give it to me because once again, just like JP Morgan, we've already pulled back. I need you to understand though, we are starting to get back to a place where prior to all of this stuff happening, right? When the dollar goes higher, things should be cheaper. When banks go higher, TLT should pull back, which it kind of has. As TLT goes higher, banks should pull back because banks are not making as much money off of their loan. I was going to say, quote unquote bank term there, but it's late. And so TLT, we had a nice breakout. We took this long. We went 2 weeks out, 20-cent longs, closed them at $3 because I brought up the fact that I think this was the day right there on that candle, guys. All right, that candle right there was the day that we bought TLT long. So you can see the volatility in the bond market. Let's look for pullbacks into 95, 96, and I want to try for a long back up to 98. All right. That's what I'm eyeing up. You guys can see here this really nice support level. And again, why am I here? Why am I looking at TLT and banks? Because they are going to be volatile, in my opinion, for the next 6 months. All right. Along with the equity markets, obviously, but I think more so here because this is your catalyst. All right. Are we cutting? Okay. Why are we cutting? Then the market reacts off of that. But when they cut and things happen, these move. So we caught this move here. We caught that. So again, $95. I just don't think that I'm going to get that again. All right. Because you can see we already pulled back off of it. And you can see here on the daily chart, where was it? Maybe there wasn't as much volume. Yeah, maybe there wasn't as much. So we'll call it 90. What is that? Let's see. If it gives it to me, I do kind of like that. Let's go here. I got to go here for 1 second because, yeah, so this would be my day 2 VWAP. So, yeah, if we can pull back to 95.50, I may end up taking it. All right, I probably will take it at 95.50. So any pullbacks in front of 95.50 is where I would like to take this. You can see here that we've already started to have your trade line in the 20-day. Look at that, right? If we can just get the 50-day, 20-day, if we get one more leg higher, do you guys know what's going to start to happen? You're going to start to see these moving averages start to look bullish. You're going to have the 200-day possibly start to get underneath the 100-day, the 100 below the 50, and right now we have the 20 above. We have the trade line above the 20 above the 50. Now we just gotta get another leg and a consolidation, and you'll have this thing looking like it should, right? Which is moving averages possibly where they should be. You did have some massive selling here. You did have some massive selling, so yes, we could be in for more of a consolidation, but this is a nice range here, not much price action. If you want to be boring and make money, and you want to put a position on, if you get pullbacks in front of the 95, now I'm not going to say you, I'm going to say me, which I might do this. I could look for actually like $100 leaps down at that 94 to 95.50 level, right? Go out a year, go out 6 months and leave it alone. Unless news happens or something happens, you obviously want to manage your risk. Don't just blindly go long, all right? And if it breaks that level, okay, it breaks it, all right? If it's again, I can't. I wish I could. I'm not a registered advisor. I can't do it. All right, I can't do it. You just have to manage it. If you would like to set up a one-on-one or do something that maybe give you some tips on risk management and how and bringing forth some math, that's a different story. You know, and this is the question that I ask also, like anybody that's listening, like as far as trading, right? Are you wanting to just intraday, like if you're just wanting to make money, it's not hard, right? There's so many different types of ways. You can buy these pullbacks and buy out 6 months, 2 months, whatever you can afford. All right, on good companies, and you'll make money. It'll be boring. You'll put that position on pullbacks. It'll pay you. Possible. I can't say it will. All right, but if it doesn't, then chances are there's more to be concerned about than money. All right, if it's that bad. So if you're looking for intraday trades, okay, you just have to know when you're trading, what are you looking for? What are you trying to get out of it? What's the trade for? What's the purpose of it? Is it a news catalyst? Is it a sentiment driven? All right, so if you're looking to make money, we are at the course right now where yields should start to pull back. We were very early on this rally. All right. Again, these things, we got these at 20 cents. You could have got these even at 15 to 12 cents. I got in early, and I paid up for it. Right. And then they ended up closing at over $3 from 20 cents. You could have got them at 10 like anywhere from like 12 to 15, even maybe even 10. Which again was because we bought on this day there. I bought that day right there. So, so think about that in some of these ideas. Maybe give yourself time with it. All right. I just get asked that question, like if I thought about it earlier about like making money, go out sometime and, it can be boring, but if you want to make money, go with the sentiment and the flow. If it's in an uptrend and you get those pullbacks, go out, leave it alone. It pays you. Take it, put it in your pocket. You want to take it all at once, just that's fine. Just don't look back and say, I should have held, I should have did that. Just move on or continue to ride that strength, all right? So TLT, I'm looking at 95.50 and 94, guys. I'm looking for this pullback here. This is a nice little setup. The only thing that's kind of concerning me, but not really, because of this tail that was in here, which was a bounce back, is that volume right there. That's a huge volume, but again, there's buying inside of that as well. So I am looking for, this was a pullback with volume that pulled back as well. I want to see what happens here. Maybe I don't take it this week. Maybe I do. Maybe I take it in front of CPI. I don't know yet. But if I get that opportunity, I'm going to take it because this is where the volatility is, in my opinion. What we could say is, okay, if we get a gap up, which you can see it's already opened up and still trying to reject here at 96.50 right now. All right, and I am still on TLT. So look, you can see it just broke that level now. Look at that tail. Tried to shake some people out. Look at the volume Friday. Look at that volume that came in on Friday. All right, again, my focus is because of volatility. Volatility pays. And this is where, in my opinion, the volatility is going to be for the next, possibly, till the end of the year. So TLT, if we gap up, I'll look for pullbacks. I'll have to buy up, 96.50. I'm going to be patient on this one because I'm going to look at banks and TLT. And we're looking for longs back to 98. Maybe we get 99, but 98, I'm cool with that. This is $2-3 on this could pay you. All right. Depending, let's go see what were they charging last week for this. Let's see. It'll be the 16th, right? So let's see. What's like a 90? Let's see. So they're saying about a dollar move. So when we open up 96.50 calls, they have some nice volume too. So they're really, yeah, look at that. So like the 95.50s when we go to buy them, there's some solid volume there on that contract at 95.50. They want $1.25. I'm cool. That's a weekly as well. Let's go look. Let's go look 2 weeks out. Let's go look 2 weeks out. You're not going to see as much volume, obviously. Maybe this will change tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, maybe do yourselves a favor if you don't do this. Pay attention to your options. Like on Monday mornings, like from where they are Friday, right? Like I can see Friday's close, where they close from Friday, and see the volume shift. Like I was trading Tesla one time, right? There was literally nobody. There was no volume on the put side. And I'm like, man, like I was actually kind of like a little worried because of that about getting in, because I'm like, damn, there is no volume. It's not that I didn't think that it couldn't go down there, but then I seen all the volume start to pile in, and those numbers just ripped, right? The open interest, the volume just started ripping. It's actually something that I haven't seen really in quite some time. But anyway, so pay attention to that. You'll start to see that volume move around, and see if 2 weeks out from now, see what these 21st contracts do. See if you start to see some more volume start to come in here. Like the 96s have, it says here 184 with 439. That should change Monday morning. It should give you Fridays, and then you'll start to see it, as this thing moves, start to change. So anyway, this is something that I'll look for. If we gap up tomorrow, I'll look for 96.50. I'm going to be really keen on my entry here. I am not just going to, I'm going to do my best to try to get these pullbacks. I want this on a pullback. All right, 96.50. This is a clear run, man. If we get this, this is a clear run to 98, and I'm taking profits in front of that 98. All right, so that's TLT. All right, let's go to Google real quick. All right, so Google is another one. All right, this one I kind of just, again, I'm still kind of building my watch list. I'm still, running around. If I see something, I'll be sure to let you guys know in the morning. Google, watch this level here at 160. What is that? Yeah, 166. All right, 166. You're starting to turn that bottom range at 165 resistance. This was really low volume, so I'm still a little hesitant here, but I feel like if the markets can bounce, I want to see Google get back up over 166, and you have a nice move back to the 100-day, and that 20 days coming down, and that 50-day. So we could look for a 165 to 170, long. All right, so some of these are my longs. I do have some shorts. This was a nice support area, double top, and I'm pretty sure, no, we didn't quite get down there. We closed Fridays at the high, so it looks like, so I wrote down, let me just look here. So I wrote down 162 to 164 pullback longs to 166 and 167. Yeah, pretty much the 100-day and that 20-day moving average is what I'm looking for here. All right, you have the trade line coming in. Look what happened last time. Bang, you just hit it and just rejected it. But I don't, I'm not going to say that I don't see that happening now. We are a bit overdone. I think Google's overdone unless there's some news that comes out. It could still consolidate. It doesn't have to go up. It doesn't have to move down. I would actually be worried with this. Hold up. I would actually be a little worried about this. Again, I just put this on here. I did just put this on here because if we can start closing up there at 166, this had some room. You're still below Friday's low. Some of the markets already regained it. We'll see where we open up at tomorrow. Maybe we get 164, even though, yeah, let's look for the 164. If we can hold 164, then I would look for a long on Google, because then I'd be able to take profits in front of 166. I may not trade this, all right? This is trading sideways right now. You have Palantir breaking out and all these other names. So that's Google. I'm looking for a bounce into the 100-day. I'm looking for a bounce into 170. 171 is what I was looking for. But that entry, if I do look at Google this week, it'll have to be there at 165, actually. I'd have to get 165 entry. Let's see. Let me look right here really quickly, because then I'll be able to see where exactly we closed at. You know, that's some solid resistance there. All right. Um, oh, I have the dotted line down there. Okay. Okay. There we. So these dotted lines here are kind of my, not kind of, but they are like my entries and exits. They are. That's what they are for. So, I think you could actually get a breakdown on Google. I'm gonna take that back. Did I write down the opposite side of this trade? Oh no, I did write down 162. Yeah, 162 to 164 longs. Okay, yeah. So this was the area. Sorry, it's a little mistaken there. So I would like to look for that. So let's look for like Thursday's close. Well, Wednesday's high. Last Wednesday's high. I don't know. I can't even. Yeah, 164 and 162. That's what I'm just gonna leave you guys with that. All right. Day 2 VWAP, which is at 163. See, that's what I'm looking at, right? 164, 163, and 162 all are, in a way, a support level that you could already look for. Again, you already made 163 support. You kind of made 164 support already, so we'll see what happens with Google. It's not really on the top of my watch list. There's one thing you guys should start to notice here with everything we're looking at. You're seeing, sorry guys that I did not see the chat as I was going through stuff. You're seeing these moving, we're bumping right into not only resistance or prior support, but you're also having these moving averages are also in your way. So it's going to be a little difficult to just think that we're just going to blast through them without news. Like if you see something going, you know, like if you pull up any of these daily charts, right? Google, what do you have? This resistance level up here at 170, which is a nice little trade. But look, the 20-day, the 100-day, and that level there. Same thing with Apple, right? Even JP Morgan, right? 50-day, we did get above that, but as soon as we reclaimed the 50-day at 214, we got the 20-day at 220. That's why I actually like Apple more. I feel like Apple's got a little more meat on the bones. Is it? Let's see here. We can. Give me 1 second here, and then we'll go into some crypto names. Let's go. I actually do want to look at crypto, and we will go ahead and pull up. We'll pull up whatchamacallit, crypto, because I want to look at. Okay, dude, this would be really nice if this pulls back. Where's the daily chart? So this is gasoline futures, which I just want to see real quick. Yo, we nailed that. We were so right on this. I was really happy with the analysis I did there, with that divergence and that gap fill. That was a beautiful thing. So this should start to pull back here, which would help inflation numbers. But all right. So let's see here. Damn, another. So here's the one thing that I was going to bring up in a minute after I was done with some of the other watch lists. Cause I still have just a couple more, and then we'll go through charts, whatever you guys want to go over. But look how we're, here's what I was saying until I seen this. As a matter of fact, today, I was hoping that this was going to be a nice long consolidation with a possible breakout, to 80, 100,000. This does not look good. This does not look good. And when I say doesn't look good, in my opinion, because of my age and my health, I don't plan on dying anytime soon. I think we might be able to get 50,000. We got close to it. But look at this, right? Now, to me, this is not a healthy consolidation. This is a head and shoulders, if I've ever seen one. All right. I started when we were back here, and if I put this right here, this right there, doesn't that look like a beautiful, just a rally, nice, beautiful, by the dip consolidation? You got some volume coming in there. But as time went on, right, and look at that volume that just came in last week. That was some pretty serious sell side volume, guys. All right, that was some pretty serious volume. Now, once again, we're rejecting the 50-day moving average. Again, what else do we have? We have lower and lower and lower and lower highs, lower and lower and lower lows. I honestly, and this tail does have some obvious buying in there, is why it's like screaming off the charts on that volume. But you know, as we pan out here, like look at that, look at that. Like TradingView does it. I could go on whatchamacallit, back on other charts. Let me see something right here. It's not going to give it to me, is it? It will. So, um, it looks like it. It looks like it. I can't argue with you. I can't argue with that 50,000. This doesn't look good. It doesn't look good in my opinion. But again, it looks good because then I'll be able to buy some at a lower price. So the reason I missed this. Now, what was funny about this whole thing is that we spotted this back here. It was like right around here. And when everybody was talking about BlackRock, and we were already watching it, and with the ETFs, and you had a lot of things just come into place to help this, and I kind of just kicked myself in the ass for not buying down here, because I was like, oh, give me 10, like give me 12, 10, like what am I doing thinking that like 2,000 on this is like, is going to make that much of a difference, 20 years from now, right? So I don't own Bitcoin. I don't own it yet because I did not buy it down here, and it just took off without me in the midst of trading and everything. So I'm just like, I'm kind of just really frustrated, and I'm gonna use it as a lesson. When you want to own something, just buy the dip. Just buy the dip, and if you don't need the money in the next, if you don't need the money, buy the dip. You want to buy whatever you can, even as little as you can, so you have something over time, right? Because that time will add up if you continue to buy the dips. So hopefully we get another shot at 50. I would really like to get 48 to 50. I just don't know how this is going to act if things start to really slow down. That's a second rejection of the 50-day. We have some solid volume in there. This just doesn't look good in my opinion, and I didn't see this until today. Like just putting in lower highs, putting in new lows. I wonder if this was the shakeout, but I'm just concerned that it wasn't, and there might be a little bit more. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get another opportunity down there at 50 to 48. I'd like to get 48. And I'll be honest, I would like to get 40. So, but that's that. Like this is a Head and Shoulders if I've ever seen one. After looking at this today and sometimes played out, it just doesn't look like a normal consolidation, right? Unless I don't know what would change it. I don't. I don't know what would change it. What the catalyst would be. Possibly a Trump term to, at least have the SEC and have some type of, some eased structure and not so much big government tightening. In other words, that you get with the other people, that want to just put a stranglehold on everything and tax the hell out of you because they think that you owe them something. Just because they have that politician mind that is big government, that we own you and we're slowly trying to like, in a way, just I don't know, because it like the fact that they haven't done anything just tells you everything there is to know about this type of government, right? They don't even like their job is supposed to be to work for the people. Yes, they've gotten some ETFs and stuff through, but like me, I don't think the US should have anything to do with Bitcoin. If they want to buy it, sure, they buy it for the US, this, that, and the third. But regulation, I think if you don't have common sense, maybe there's areas that I don't know about that should have regulation. But honestly, if you don't know who you're buying from, like I could see regulation for the crypto companies, or at least the ones that are on exchanges, and even having regulation for the currencies, as far as like having the insurance to be able to pay people back if something goes wrong. So, but at the end of the day, if you really want to ask me, I think Bitcoin is fine how it is. I don't think that there should be regulation there. I don't know, because now that could open up a can of worms with an exchange, just or even an overseas exchange doing harm to people. So that could, why they haven't done that, I don't know. I don't know. So I think we have to wait and see. I honestly don't know what's about to happen with this. Like, it's either getting ready to be really bad, or that was a shake and bake and we're getting ready to start making up some ground. The thing I would say to pay attention to, whatever you're watching, is go look at the daily, or look at the volume. You want to start seeing some surges of volume. You do have, well, actually, you don't. You want to start seeing divergence in some of your indicators, and you want to see some volume backing it up to really give you that bullish inclination. Right now, this looks to be bearish, which is good because I'd like to be able to own it down there at 50, 48, 47. If it gives me 40, I'm going to be a buyer. So I'm going to let this play out and see what happens here. I think you get another rally back to 64. I do. I think you could still get back to 64. If you don't, then you have to ask why. Why didn't we get back to 64? That's the bigger question. Because if you don't get back to 64 within the next little while, then, because you can see you're already starting to regain 58, which you're trying to turn 58 into support. You had some buyers step in here. Let's see if 58 can hold. This should let us know. Because 58, if we go back, even if let me just pull up a 4-hour chart. Let me make sure that it looks right. 58, yeah, 58 is a nice support. Like, if you give that up, if we give up 58, then you pretty much know where you're going, right? You pretty much know where you're going because you're trying to put in a higher low, which was a prior resistance zone here. I know you guys probably can't see it, but right there. Let's see if we can start holding that level there, and I would like to see us get back to like 64 and then start to hold that 50-day. And I'd like to see this thing consolidate, honestly. If this thing can just consolidate and not and at least stop making lower lows and lower highs and start to change a little bit, then yeah, like, look at that volume. Like, look at that. So we'll see what happens here. Let me finish with my watch list really quickly. Like I said, we had some retail earnings. So look, Tesla is another one I'm watching. Okay, which is another one that has. There's just so much in front of us to the upside that, like, it's going to be hard to really gain traction and get those huge trades. So if you're somebody that's out there listening to this and you're looking for 1,000%er, a 500%er, you might want to look at the retail names that are reporting. And make sure that there's room. And I'm still going to be doing work as far as sectors and this, that, and the third. Semiconductors, which we'll touch on, they don't look so good. So Tesla, you're stuck between the 200 and 100-day moving average. I'm going to tell you guys right now, 191 to 190. If I can get that again, I'm probably going to go long. I think we can we're not going to get there on the first try. I would like to see us get to 220, but 210 is going to be your level, right? 210 is your level. You have the 50-day right there. If we pull it back, you're going to see 210 is your level, right? Resistance, support, resistance. It's like your middleman. So if I can get a 190 long at the 100-day, I want you guys to notice something. There's more to this, all right? Every time you get a breakout, all right, you have these nice breakouts like right here, right? We traded this. When you're stuck between the 50 and the 100, you can see this consolidation, 100-day, 50-day, 100-day, 50-day, bang. Once it breaks out in that direction, you're usually able to get a nice extension. And look what it also did right as it broke out the opposite direction. You see that nice wick, that shake and bake, bang. That's what I'm looking for a hopefully like in the low 190s along where it looks like it's going to break down, right? It kind of just like pulls back, right? You have that flag going on there with resistance at 200. Maybe it like pulls back with like a wick and it looks like you have that like wick that pulls itself right back into the 100-day, just to go back down there to retest it and pull in some buyers and pull in sellers to try to get short. And then it reverses, and then I want to look for that reversal back to 210. I need the low 190s though. I need the low one, like even 195 I'd be happy with. All right, Friday you ended up making 194.50 support, so we did make that support. We are above this level here at 199.50, call it 200. So right now, until we break out, this thing could still consolidate, but we do have a wedge here. So it's either going to be like one of these little shots to try to break out through the 200-day, then it just reverses. All right. Or it's going to pull itself back and act like it's going to break out, or test this wedge one more time tomorrow at like 196, 195, kind of like pull back into it, and then we could try to look for the breakout. All right. And again, I'm going to look for that to 210. I'd like to try and get to 220, but I don't think it's going to be possible. Why 220? Because there, let me see here. Where am I at? 1 hour. We never really retested that level up here to make it resistance, right? If you look at the daily chart, if you play it out, so you see the rally, pull back, right? That's 232. You rally, support, okay, tries to break it, tries to recover, doesn't. You made that pivot low resistance. You double topped at it. Okay, cool. We know what's about to happen. Bang. I want to try to test this little wedge here. We probably won't get it. Maybe it's a wick, but like right there. That double bottom, we still have yet to like turn that into resistance. Could you say that the gap down, that little wick pivot high there at like 217, was it? Sure. But again, look for 210. All right, look for 210. If it looks like it's breaking out with volume, you can try for 220, and it's an extra $20. So that's Tesla. All right, so Reddit. All right, Reddit. Oh, real quick, the downside. So here's my plan for this. Let me be clear. Longs at the 100-day. If I don't get that and we get up to 210 before we get to the 100-day, and it looks like we break out on low volume, then I'll look for the short at 210. So I'm either shorting at 210 because we had a low volume break and it just, you know, there's no news. Now, if there's news, it's a different story. Then that could probably take us to the 220, which would also take us to the 20-day moving average. All right. Or again, 190 longs or 210 shorts. That's the range. 190, 210. You know, you want to be buying at those levels, really, to be, you know, saving. If you're a person that's going to trade options, you're going to be paying a cheaper price, and you don't have to know. You don't have to wait very long to know if you're wrong or not. All right, you know, you can wait for the breakout and the pullback, but you're going to be paying up for it. And then something happens. Let's just say news, right, or something happens. Now you've paid more, and now you're paying more to not only make less because you paid more, you are, you know, at risk of, you know, something happening for that to be a failed breakout. Rarely happens, I know. If it works, listen, you want to find a system that works, and putting yourself in the best position possible is the best way for you to be able to make money and at least get the trade on, let it work for you, let it pay you, right? Take some of that money on that initial move and say, all right, cool, we got that breakout. I got some money in my pocket. I've got some insurance. I've got some, now I can see I got volume. This is going to be a nice breakout. Now you're in control of the trade. Now you don't have to be wondering about this, that, and the third. You gave yourself time on the options. If you didn't, you know, make sure it's moving. If it's not moving and it's going to consolidate, you're just going to throw your money in the garbage can. All right, I just want to help you guys out. So just those easy steps, and just understanding that if you get another pullback to 195, say, hey, I'm paying cheaper. You know what? If it breaks, fine. Guess what? I paid cheaper, and I didn't have to wait very long at all to know that I was wrong because it broke. You know, and you had that wedge coming up. So the low 190s, if we can get down in there. One more thing. the volume. I want you guys to see the volume real quick, because the volume is showing you there's still some nice buying pressure here with Tesla. Pretty consistent on Wednesday, right? Pretty consistent on Wednesday, but that's, you know, we are putting in a lower high. I just think this could go both ways. I just want you to know that if we break above the 200-day or below that 100-day, it should give you a nice move. All right, sorry to talk so much. Let's keep moving Shopify, and I'll go into some more Shopify. I don't think I talked about this, so they reported earnings also. Shopify, I'm actually looking for a possible short, but I'm actually going to try the long as well if it gives it to me. All right, this level up here at $70. All right, you guys can see here, it's $70. This is a resistance support level. I think we can catch a pullback off of this level. We have the 200-day lining up right there also. There's your 200-day moving average. And you also have, I can pull up 15-minute, I guess. You also have another, which we already took this. You have another you have another ascending wedge here. All right. You have another ascending wedge, which is a reversal pattern. All right. They had good earnings. Now, this is not something I think it's just going to fall out of bed. I feel like $70 should be a pretty serious level of resistance. I feel like this trade is going to give us a few dollars to the downside, if we can get it. If it breaks above $70, okay, I'll know pretty quickly, and I'll see how it does the break. But you have the 200-day moving average up there. Your 20-day, the 90 MA is way down here at 61. I'm looking for a move. I'm going to get short at 70, and I'm looking to take profits in front of 68. It's like 67.75. A small piece off there, and I want to see if we can break this level here. And I want to look for a move that pretty much takes us back into $65. That's what I'm targeting. All right, not in one day, obviously, but pretty much this move to here. Maybe we can even, you know, if it gives it to us, cool. We'll see what happens, right? I think we can at least get ourselves back into like 64, 65 area. And that $5 move would be a nice move on Shopify that could pay us really well. Listen, if we see that 50 day is going to be coming up here also, and your 20 day. So you're going to have a lot of support here at $64. So I think we're a little bit overextended. I think we need to pull back before we go higher. All right. That's Shopify. All right. $70 short. That's what I'm looking for. Just so you know, I don't have any. No, I do have a futures contract. I do have some oil on. That's a losing position. It was a small one. I should have. I rushed into that trade, which is okay. I went small on it because I thought that I was rushing into it. So we shorted Shopify on this right here. We took this trade, guys. I forget what we got. What do you got? I'd have to log in. So this trade here was about 400 to 500%. Same thing, right? Look at that. Boom. Boom. Identifying what's going on, understanding, right, what patterns are, and understanding we have an ascending wedge here. And I said, guys, I'm going short. I actually limit 71 cents. That's because I limit ordered in it, and I literally like bottom ticked, however you want to say it, bottom ticked, top ticked, but I bottom ticked the puts on those at 70 cents. I don't know if you could have got 68 or 69, even 70. I'm pretty sure that I top ticked those, or I don't know, however you want to say it, but I got probably the best price you were going to get on those puts. I feel like, though, you might have been able to get 68 for some reason, or 69. Might have. I don't know. Because I thought that I tried to move down and then get rid of it. But anyway, so we caught this. All right, I took that. I was the idea of the trade was a reversal move back off of 68 into VWAP. That's it, and I did it, and I took it off, and that gave me a huge. I think it was like an 85. It's like 100% gain, just under 100% gain. I might be mistaken. It might have been like a $1.10. You know, I'm pretty sure. I know I'm safe to say 80. I know I'm safe to say 80 on this. So it ended up bouncing and giving us even more so because I even remember mentioning look for another bounce back rejection to 67 and you could probably get, you know, take it there again, and then the market fell out of bed and it gave you that follow through. All right, so we traded that last week. That was what I think I took a lot of trades. Now that I forgot about this trade. I forgot about that until I was like just pulling random stuff up on the watch list. So ascending wedge there. We took that last week. Now this is a bigger. Now you'll see this is a bigger ascending wedge there in front of that big resistance zone. Ascending wedges are reversal patterns. They're a sign of trend reversals to come. You got some selling pressure up here. They had good earnings stuff again. I'm just looking for a pullback. So Shopify 70 puts. I might try to hold this down to like 64, but we got to understand that like 65, 66, this little area right in here is a little, you got to watch that level right there. All right. That you got to take profits in front of that level and in front of 60, 60, it's like 60, it's the high 67s. Call it 67.90. Right, that triple bottom from Friday's low. You want to take profits if you get it at 70. You want to take profits in front of that. All right. What else? Let's look at Palantir really quickly because I know there were a lot of people that traded this Friday. I actually did take a losing trade on this. I took a small position. Here's the thing. All right. I was initially correct on this trade idea. All right. I wanted to be short. It's recorded live and it should be it's posted. The only reason it wouldn't be is because of a copyright, but I think I fixed a couple of them to where it should be posted. I said, look for a pop off the bell and short at the 20-day moving average and 27.50 and look for a move back down into prior day's low. All right, prior day's low, prior day's close, 26.50. All right, you double topped up there. Well, really, you didn't double top because you open up little volatility. What did you do? Bang, got right into 67.50. I literally to a T called 67.50 short. Look for a bounce in there off the bell, pull it back. Look for that pullback. You got. This pullback here paid you a little over 100%. I think it was like 120% just from there to there. So what did I do? I missed it. I was looking at something else. Did something that was not the plan. It breaks, it holds. I don't know where I shorted this. I think it was on the way back up there, which was a mean reversal. You know, and really the volume didn't come in until the break. And that told you, like this here is a setup that for any beginner trader, you should put this and study what this stock just did right there. Like just off of that right there. If I gave you see that's too wide. If I gave you guys a picture perfect trade, risk to reward, everything, technical analysis, it would be this right here. I could break it down another day. But look at this breakout, right? You had a breakout through a prior resistance zone. Right there's your breakout. The candle closes at the high. Look at the volume of that break. Look at the volume of that break. That is your number one sign Got my entry. If you're not in it, I got my entry. Where is that? That double top pre-market high, that pivot high right here. It's a double top in my opinion, but prior high. Now the thing is, you could go back too, but you could see this area was a resistance zone. It's bigger on the daily chart, but that's not the point. The point is your pre-market high and that pivot high there. That's your double top. That's a double top. You break through that double top high on an increase in volume. You look for that area specifically for an entry. You want to have your trade line and VWAP go right up into that level. Sometimes they'll give you another little leg higher. Then that's going to yank VWAP and the 9 EMA up there with it. And they should all meet right back down in there. So as it pulls back, right, hit the long. You know one trade I did this week, which is the same thing? TTD. Traded TTD. Huge trade this week on this. This one I think I got over 100%. Like 160, 170 for like just, I think it was like 150%, a little over 150%. Right here. Same thing. Same thing. Same exact trade. And I freaking nailed it. Look at this. All right. So when I give it, see, I don't have pre-market. I do have pre-market on, but I don't. So when you guys join us again, we trade live right here Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe. We get to 500 and 1,000 subscribers. I'm doing a giveaway. So we broke out on the trade desk, right? You can see this 50-day moving average, right? Pre-market highs. All right here, right? Boom, boom, boom. So we got this level here at 93.75 that we already have marked out with the line. I just have to make it bigger. That's what she said for you guys. Here we go. We come out the gates with this thing. Look at the volume that thing had. If I go here so you guys can see it, look at the volume. That was the very first thing I saw. I said, guys, I found it. Look at that volume. I don't think this thing has ever had that much volume in a single day. Like hardly ever. Maybe once or twice before. All right, cool. Now, how am I playing this? Where's my entry? Where's my exit? Well, I know 98's already on the table. We're looking for 98. Where am I getting in? That's what you have to figure out as a trader. Where am I getting in? Where am I getting out? Especially if you find something that you didn't plan on trading that just has news and you find it, you're like, oh shit, you know. How do you, in real time, do it? Look, same thing. Here's your resistance zone at 93.71. 93.75 is what it was. Flat top resistance from pre-market highs. You also had the 50-day up there too. So, well, no, it's the 50 days up higher, but this is your zone. It's like 93.75, 94. So, point being, we break out on volume, okay? It breaks through the level on an increase in volume, and it starts right there. It started early in the pre-market, not pre-market, but it started early in the day. There's a huge volume that came in there on that break. So we said, okay, we're looking for that level, and we're looking for trade line, VWAP. Like we need multiple indicators lining up to give us the buy entry point, right? You can buy at support and resistance if it works for you, that's fine. But when I find something that I didn't plan on trading, if you guys can see this, you can see this area here, which was support. We broke off of it, broke through it. That's the area I want to be long. I want to be long. Pullbacks into 93. What do you have? You have VWAP, 9 EMA, all lining up at where? They're all lining up at where? 93.65 to 94, we'll say. That whole region. You want to be buying in front of it, right? Just in front of it. So you could have a limit order at 94, right? As it wicks into 94, bang, you get filled. That's literally the entry from Friday on that trade. And I'm almost positive this line I just put in. Yeah, here it was. So you guys can look back here. You see back here? See all that resistance? Bang, 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 bang. All right, we got it. $94. It's like, you know what I mean? That's where I want to be a buyer. We started to get the pullback. All right, pink line is VWAP, 90 MA's coming up. That right there is where I'm a buyer. And look at that tail. Why is that? So if you got to think about this as a trader, right? For anybody that doesn't know, if you have algorithms and you have professional institutions setting orders where they don't, there is not just I'm buying just a random spot just because it's supported, just because it's resistance, or just because I want to buy it. They're going to be buying a specific areas, and they use VWAP, 90 MA, and the moving averages. They are made for entries and exits. Okay, you get, like, whenever you have strength, like, there's a reason why when you get breakouts away from the 90 MA and then it pulls back, then it acts as support, is because people are physically putting orders on it, in front of it, and around it. So that's it, right? Resistance zone that we have here at 94. We broke through it on an increase in volume. I'm looking for pullbacks into it, not just because it's the level that was resistance, but I think it's going to be more support because I have volume. I'm going to have that 90 MA coming up right at the same time. That pullback yanks it up. That allows me to put my order. I know exactly where I'm getting in, and it's going to be right there at $94 and some change. Right there. And that pullback is exactly where I got long. I can go back and give you guys the timestamps, but it would take me a minute. Just remember that. Use that this week, right? Practice entries and exits. And then as you extend away from it, take your profits, right? Take your profits. That was a really nice trade for me. That was a really nice trade for me this week. So, or whatever we were just looking at, you know, pretty much set up the same thing. All right, so here's another stock that I'm watching this week, guys. Sorry about that. Reddit. I want you guys to see Reddit. I have two more that I may trade, I may not. I kind of like this one better. I'm going to do a little bit more work tonight. So Reddit, they just reported also. This thing's pulling back. You can see this prior support level here. You had the gap down back, you know, a couple days after the IPO, and you turn that gap fill into support. All right, you turn that gap into support right there. All right, right there. All that support is right at your gap. So, therefore, I want to start using that gap as my area, which I'm already noticing. Right, all that support came in there. It's going to be an area, obviously. It's now becoming resistance. Okay, now if the market bounces back, okay, I have volume that's still there, so I'm looking for this to see, do we reject or do we reclaim 55? I don't think I wrote anything. Yeah, 55. I wrote down 55 because that's all I was able to get to because I was trying to start the stream. So I want to see, and you can see here from Monday, do we get another rejection up here at $55? I want to look for a short. Here's why. Because this thing has room on a breakdown. If we get another rejection here at 55, we can look for a move back in the 50. That's ultimately what I'm looking for. Again, it's all gonna depend on a few things. You know, some of these I'm kind of just like reluctant to get in the more I think about it, because it's already on its low, and I'm going to watch it. If I notice and I start to see, hey, we just can't get back through it, sure, I'll put it on. All right, you have some resistance up there at 58. You could say 59 or 58 and 60. You could say 60 is a level, but really 55 is that major support zone. 55 to 60. All right, that's a rejection point I'm looking to try to take, because look, guys, if we break this level here, if you get short at 55, 56, and it does give us that pullback, that volume that's coming in, we sold off on earnings, you bounce back to it, it rejected it on an increase in volume, chances are, again, we look for 55, 56 to become resistance. And if we can break that level, we have a lot of room to the downside. Like, this thing could start to just like maybe fall out of bed and we could look for like you know, a 2-week trade back down to 45. Again, I will see what things look like. You know, again, bounce backs, right? 55, 56 on that. All right. You try. Here's the thing too: is you tried to get above 55, right? You got above it, and then you couldn't hold it. You got down to it, tried to make it support, and guess what? That pullback had an increase in volume, right? You had low volume on the break, and an increase on the sell side. So that selling pressure is there. All right, 55, 55, 55, 55. All right. No, I don't use Hakanashi. I don't use it. I like to, you know, there's nothing wrong with using it, but you know, whatever helps you. You know, you have to figure out who you know who you are. You're saying you know how you act. You know your emotions. You know the type of person you are. Are you a type of person that puts a trade on and is like really like looking for that thing to start making you some money? Like, are you a person that is like likes volatility because you can enter correctly and you can take your money and you're okay with like 30, 40, 50% on a move that takes 20 minutes? Or are you a person that, like, you know, can put on a Palantir or a stock that's $20 and just sit back all day and just slowly take profits every 25 cents for, you know, 50 cents for 100%? You know what I'm saying? So again, it's ultimately up to you. The thing that I would really suggest is finding a repeatable process, but not only that, understanding why you're doing what you're doing. What is the purpose of it? Right? I've given a few different trades here. I have some earnings trades that, you know, tried to recover back from earnings. Some are doing well, some are doing bad. Like this trade here is going to be a trade that should take at least a few days, if not like at least a week maybe, right? If I put this on up here, I should know that I may need to give this thing a little bit of time to slowly break down. I can't just expect Reddit to just break down without no news. But I do know if I put myself in the best position possible at 55 to 56, we've already rejected it. You know, I can start to take profits in front of that 50 level, and I could look for a move back to that IPO price a little bit lower. It's like 45, and see, you know, we have kind of sold off already, so that's why I'm a little reluctant. But again, this was a nice support level. Double bottomed at it, right? Break, support, 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 rally, boom, hit it again, and guess what? You couldn't hold it here. You had an increase in volume on the break of that level. So now we look for a low volume bounce, which we got, and an increase. So it's all adding up there. It's something I'm going to watch. So that is Reddit. But again, you know the person that you are. Come join us on the live stream. We'll start the stream up about 7:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock, 7:15. We'll go through the news. We'll go through upgrades, downgrades, so we know exactly what's going on, where we want to be, what's leading, what's lagging, right? First thing we're going to do is look at the Dow, the Qs, and the SPY and the IWM. Which one is doing what? You saw this week, the IWM, for the most part, at times, the Qs started to lead a little bit last week, which told us to be long tech. But, you know, you'll be able to see how we go about the day, and locating where we want to be and how do we want to be in that direction, right? And we're going to have both sides covered. Remember, a stock that's been very strong is Meta. So if the market does bounce, now I am a little, you know, I talked about trading this last week. I talked with the group about the earnings gap up, pullback because of the market pulling back, and then it's rallied. I mean, look at this thing. Look what it did last week. You know, I brought this up, but there was so much other news. I didn't get a chance to trade this. Look at this. Here's your high from Monday. You know, Tuesday breaks out. Wednesday it pulls back. You know, pre-market or after hours Wednesday. Look at that top from Monday. Bang. You never got that entry. You had to buy it up here. But this week, how I'm gonna be focused, in my view this week, is this right there. Right there. Focused, just moving with the flow of things, and I'm out for blood. I'm out for blood for this week, especially if the market gives it to me. I'm not just going to expect it. I want to see it. And, if the volatility presents itself, I'm going in for the kill. All right. I'm going to size up this week. If the market allows me, if I have to wait for it and the market calms down, because remember, we just had a couple weeks here where it's been really volatile. The market might take a breather. All right. Unless we get some surprises. So my point being, Meta has been strong. Keep an eye out on this thing. It still has room to the highs. It still has a little room. Just be careful, because any little pullbacks, this thing's going to start to be a bit oversold, and that weakness could start to fade a little bit. This is a heavy resistance zone, 520. It's actually a pretty big area. It's like 520 to 525. So if you do trade Meta, give it the room that it needs. It does have some nice volume. Make sure you're getting pullbacks. I can only be long this thing at 510. 510, look for a move back to 525. That's what I would do. All right, you touched it Friday. See if you're able to get another, move back into 510. So add that on your watch list, 510. Look for that pullback. Even if you can get I would watch for, let's see, that was that high. You did sit on it Friday. Monday and Tuesday were really nice to be long this thing, and I wasn't. We'll look at Palantir too real quick. This is the area I'd be watching, 510. If you don't get 510 and this thing just goes, I'm going to let it go. You can trade it if you want, but you might have even more room back up there to 530, 50, really where it's at. Maybe you get up to 540. So that would be another level there. Let's go really quickly. If you guys have any tickers or questions, you can post them in the chat. That's pretty much my watch list. Yeah, there's no gap there. I didn't think so. So you can see the little range that it has here. You just have to be careful. You have to be careful at 520 to 525. It could start to just fade because it's been so strong. And, maybe it just goes out to new highs. I just don't know if it's going to. Listen, it is a low PE stock, believe it or not. That's the other part to this. This is why I'm not, I would be a little reluctant, because I'm going to need an entry to make me feel comfortable, because I know who I am, right? Because if I don't buy this thing correctly and I buy it wrong and it pulls back and I'm red, then I'm throwing my whole game is off. I ain't doing it. But if you can handle a little pullback and you're cool and you want to give yourself some time, look for this thing to go back up to 540s and attempt to make new highs. I just personally would be careful. All right. So that is Meta. All right. 520 is your resistance area. So that's about all I have, guys. Unless you guys have any names or anything you guys want to, look at, talk about. We don't really have any earnings tomorrow. We do have earnings, but it's not really anything I think that's going to be crazy. Wait, what is this? All right, so cool. I still have this up. Oh, that's right. Some of the cannabis names broke out last week. I missed that MSOS short. Oh my goodness. So I said Friday that I was looking for a short on MSOS off of that 740 level, and we were looking for pullbacks in the $7. Oh shit. Okay. All right. So. All right. See, we already broke and started making that resistance. All right. So I might have a trade idea here. If we can't get back above $7.27, I'll probably short MSOS. Or I'm not going to short. I could short it instead of buying puts. I'll either be buying puts or I'll be shorting it. Okay? I'll be buying puts or shorting it. I would watch $7. I would keep an eye on $7. You haven't this. What's funny is that this And look, you have the 50-day and 20-day pulling in right there too. So any bounce backs into that level, you haven't had any like presidential speeches or a focus like you did last time on weed, right? You haven't even really heard anything about that, in my opinion. So I would look at this possibly for a pullback. If the market bounces and the Qs are bouncing, and this thing looks like it's going to hold up, like that's a nice area there at 710 um, to possibly look at for a long. Maybe, I don't know. I think even if it bounces back, I still probably got to be short because that could be a nice 50-cent move there on $7. That could be a nice percentage gain. Like, honestly, that percentage, look, that's a 5% move. And even if I could take it down into like 675, depending on the volume, that's a 10 to 12% move. So, let's see here. What's the volume? The volume's not bad either. It's nice on the call side. Let's see if these start to pick up a little bit on the put side. I'll be eyeing that up. I'm gonna put that on my. I'm gonna write that down also. So I think I've covered. Oh, one more that I didn't talk about, and let me write this down. All right, there's one more that I'm gonna keep on watch. All right, that I'm gonna keep on watch. Sorry that is so loud. Dude, what is going on here? Dude, this is what I hate about this thing. No. Roblox. So Roblox reported also a couple days ago, and I'm going to go through more. I want to look at Coinbase and some others real quick with you guys, if you don't mind. All right, bounce backs into $38 to $37. I'll probably end up looking for, if it gives it to me, if we can't get above 37.50 to 38, that 50-day moving average, I'll probably look for a short on Roblox. All right, Roblox sold off on its earnings. Now, if we recapture this, you still have that 200-day right there in front of you as well. I'm just keeping my eye on this because here's the thing. If we can no longer get above $38, I'm looking for a move, taking profits in front of 36, and I want to see if we can break that level and do something like that. All right, and do something like that. All right, that's kind of what I'm like eyeing up on Roblox. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to look exactly like this. Might have to give it a little room. All right, but that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see if this thing breaks down. If it cannot get up above the 50-day, get short up there, and look for a move that takes us down into the low 30s. All right. This thing has been consolidating for a little while now. And I think that this could be... I think this could be it. Now that's mine. Let's see. Like that was a lower high. You know, honestly... You know, this is a major level. It did wick at it, but I mean, guys, if you break this level, right, you have room to 34, but 34 can't hold. And that's what I'm targeting is $34. If we can get a move back into $34 on Roblox, it's been a stock that's been down. I might buy a little bit for like, now when I say long term, I only mean like a few years maybe, until I think that Roblox is just like fading, and you know, it just feels like it's not like a stock that's like EA or Activision, or I just feel I don't know. Again, I haven't played games in a while, but I don't know. I'm looking for a move back down into $34. And if you break $34, you have room back down to 30. That could be a big trade. All right, that could be a big trade. If it wants to bounce, I'm going to let it bounce. I'll wait for the rejections. All right, but I'm still gonna look for a move to get back into like $32 to $30. All right, a day trade, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. I'm looking for 34. All right, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that break there. See if we can take a short at $38. The 50-day. You got the 50-day, 200-day. You're gonna have the 20-day. All that coming up right there in your face, off of an earnings that was down. It seems so. And that's the other part to this is you broke above this level, you failed to hold it. Now you just retested it at 37.50. So let's see if we can get a break here, guys. Let's see if we can break 36. We got a straight shot move. This could be a big day where this thing, you see it just kind of, you see one of those short days where they're like just candles that are just the same size all the way down, and it just fades. It just fades. All right. That's Roblox. All right, that's about all I got. My mouth's dry. I got to get it some water. I'm still going to be looking at some other names. So, some of the names that are strong, I'm not saying to be long them because they have already ran. Palantir. Okay, Palantir is a stock that's strong. All right, I think Palantir is a better one to be long than Meta. Not really. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. With mega cap tech, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they start breaking down. Meta may follow them. So Palantir is not necessarily in that category. That's why I am a little reluctant with Meta, but I still think Meta could make new highs. I'm leery with it. Is my point. I'm not convicted in either way, right? If the market's bounced, sure. Let it prove to you that it's going to continue that way. But anyway, Palantir, right? Strong. So if the markets are bouncing, keep these names on your list. Palantir, right? The trade desk. Look at that breakout. Bang. Look at that day. We traded this, guys. I'm so happy I was a part of this. And that was the other part, was that we got that 50-day break and we were just holding it with that prior support level that was resistance. We recovered it on an increase in volume, and literally that was our entry point. The trade desk, Roblox, Shopify had good again. I'm going to short this because of this ascending wedge. And again, I'm looking for pullbacks to 64 to be long at this area to see if it can hold and break out. All right, I think it's just going a little too far at $70. But just keep your eye on this for pullback longs, right? I would not long this name until it's at $64, $65. All right. Unless it just sits up here in this area, this box from 70 to 67 and consolidates. If it does that for a few days, sure, that's different. All right, so Shopify, Palantir, the trade desk. I know I'm missing something outside of Meta. What else is strong? I had a lot. Upstart. This is the big one. This is the one I want to add for my long term. All right, look at this. Look at the volume here. This is the second biggest volume that this thing has had. All right, I think I traded this. I'm almost positive I traded this also. I just have to go look through my my orders. I just can't give you my entries and exits because I don't remember. I know we traded this. I know we did. All right, so Upstart. Upstart is another name that I'm going to probably be trading this week on pullbacks. If we can get a pullback, which we are above it now, if looking for like 36, really, I'm going to be honest, I would like $32. Yeah, we already covered this. Yeah, we already covered that. All right. So Upstart, another strong stock with volume. So if you get any pullbacks on this, like 36, 30, like this area here, right? I give you the levels. All right. There's a level here. I don't think you're going to get that. Shit. $30, but I don't think you're going to get 30 because of that previous high there. So $32 and like 35, 36. All right, really call it 35. So the mid to low 30s on Upstart is where you would look for a long. I would preferably like 32, if not 30, to get that 20-day 9 EMA moving average. Right, look for like pullback longs on these names, just like Shopify too. This is kind of what I'm eyeing up. Relative strength, huge volume breakouts, getting the pullbacks, right? And then looking if the market's going to continue strong, then we look for, breakouts, and we let these moving averages start to catch up. Trade line, bang, there's our entry points. That's what we use moving averages for, is entries and exits. All right. First off, do they even mean anything? You got to find that out first, right? Just understanding that we're way above every one of them. We're a little bit overdone there. So hopefully we can, get some type of consolidated pullback there. I mean, 20-day, 200-day, 50-day, 100-day, you're above all of it. That's just how strong it's been. This one, again, if it pulls back, I will be buying a little bit for my long term. All right, I will be buying a little bit for the long term. I just have to do more research to put real money on it. All right, 30 to 32 is the level. If you get 30, cool. I just don't know if the market's going to give us that. So if it gives it to you, as long as it's not on a downgrade in news, just make sure there's no news. All right, so that's some of the ones that are strong here. Oh, Robinhood too. Coinbase. Let's look at Coinbase really quickly. Coinbase still is not above here. This could be a nice trade, guys. Bitcoin is breaking down. If Bitcoin can't get above its level, Coinbase, look at this. Look at that base there, and it's down below it right there. Your pivot high. There's your support level right there at 200. If you can, if you can't get back above it, which I hope that we can. I don't know. It's going to be hard to say. I'm not calling it. I'm just going to trade it. I'll let it show me what I should do. But you can see here, you do have some nice volume. Let's see if we can do that. That could be a nice trade. Look for Coinbase 200. Look for an increase in volume through 200, and look for that 200 to be your entry point. Okay, you want that high volume break. All right, you want the high volume break. Unless you have an upgrade or something, I'm going to be trading it tomorrow. Look for over the next couple days. Not tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's late. I'm just slurring my words. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday if CPI is okay, or if, maybe you get an upgrade or some type of news that comes out. Just be careful. Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin can give us a little progress. We'll talk about it in the morning. You can come join us then. Earnings again, though, I'll be starting to trade some of these retailers and Cisco. Remember the Cisco idea? All right. Remember last week they gave us that news. So UBS Bank is another one. I actually want to start looking at real quick. I don't know if there's anybody here. I know this has been a really long stream, and I do apologize. How long has it been? It's probably been well over an hour. Yeah, it's been almost an hour, and it's been almost 2 hours. Okay. I want to start checking out some of these banks, all right, for credit risk, okay? And what do I mean by that? I mean, what are their 5-year credit default swaps trading at? It's a gauge of risk. For every bank is different. All right, every bank is different. The higher they trade, the higher that's telling you, the riskier they are, that the party that is buying them wants to be paid to take that risk. If they're not paying that much, that shows they're comfortable that nothing's going to happen. There's no real sign of fear there. This is underneath the 200-day. This is a consolidation. It is a bit overdone. It's been a performer. I'll tell you that. UBS has been a performer. I'm not saying that this is going to go down, but if you don't own this stock, from the looks of it, you might want to think about this thing. All right. Man, I wish I owned this. Fuck. Look at that, man. If we get pullbacks in the $25, if we could just get a pullback to 25, and we may not, this thing could break, man. This thing in the coming years, you could see this thing double. You could see this thing double. Wow. 49, $8. Damn. Why is it down? All right. You guys have a good one. Hit the like button for me. Let's have a great week. I'm going out for blood this week. All right. I'm going out for blood actually for this month. Let's put it to you that way. All right. Have a great night, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being patient. I do apologize. I want to get better at these streams and stuff. Thank you for the love and support. Again, remember, we're doing a giveaway, so make sure you subscribe. Comment below, what are you watching? Join us on the watch or on the live stream during the day. We work together as a team to crush it. All right, as a team, we work together. We find relative strength, relative weakness. We find the volume. We cover the news, and we locate where we want to be, and we want that volume to back it up. And it's hard to find that stuff on your own with two eyes. It's better to have 40 or 50 to 1,000 eyes watching different parts of the markets, where we can all, get our steak. All right, let's get our pork chops this week. Let's get our steak this week. All right, have a good night, guys. I'll see you guys in the morning.